So maybe your fitness is on track. Maybe you're doing well with it. How do you transfer that to other areas of life? I'm talking about growing in other areas besides physical. So strap in, get ready for episode 269. Let's go.
The future of fitness.
How do you gain muscle mass?
Fitness is not complicated. It's simple when you break it down.
There's so much information out there.
No fads, no diets, just plain simple habits.
You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast.
Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Brian Parody, and I will be your host today. And if this is your first time listening, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you checking out the podcast. For our return listeners, thank you for coming back. It means the world to me that you continue to tune in to this podcast with me on a weekly basis. If my voice sounds kind of weird, I apologize for that. I am getting over some kind of head cold, so my voice is really funky right now. So I apologize in advance for that. So when I started my fitness journey, I was a completely different person. And I don't just mean physically. I mean the way I carried myself. I had zero confidence. I lacked a lot of self-esteem. I stooped my shoulders when I walked. Like my whole being just kind of resonated a very big insecurity. And when I began to get into fitness and began to change my body, a lot of that changed. And I kind of want to dive into that aspect because, we focus so much on changing our physical appearance, but one thing we don't talk about a lot is what else changes when we're on that physical journey. Because I know for me, I'm not the same person that I used to be because of fitness. And it's not because of the physical transformation that took place. It's because of the inward transformation that took place. And you might say, well, that's kind of a weird thing. Why do we change in other areas when we start changing the physical? And I think a lot of it has to do with, when we come from a place of whatever it is, we all start off somewhere with fitness. We want to get to some certain goal, right? And as we take steps towards that, and as we begin to make those changes, as we begin to see the changes literally physically take place in front of us, and in the mirror and on the scale and in measurements, we see that transformation taking place, and we think to ourselves, wow, I'm causing this change. I can adjust what I eat. I can adjust how I work out, and it has a direct result on the way I look, and I am in direct control of that. And we live in a day and age where there's a lot of things out of our control. So that's a very empowering thing when, we see something, we see a direct relation to, if I do A, B happens, and I have direct control over that. And so I think what happens is then we begin to question other things. And we begin to ask ourselves, okay, I took a step out in this. I changed the way my body looks. I changed my physical appearance. I changed my overall strength. How then now can I change other things? What other things in my life need changing, and how can I bring a change about to them? One very common thing amongst any, I don't even know what the term is for them, but successful people, quote unquote, right? In terms of business leaders and high, functioning individuals, right? One common theme is they work out on a regular basis. And I don't think that's just a coincidence. I think it's because, everything when we try to become a better person is interlaced. It's all interlaced. You don't get better in this one area of life and not better in another area of life. It's kind of this snowball effect. You start off maybe with the physical. At least for me, I started off with the physical, and it was kind of like a snowball. And that snowball began to get bigger and turn into a snowman. And it just turned into all these life changes that I began to make, and all these, things that I began to uncover, and began to step out into uncertain areas more and more, which all led to me, kind of changing my mindset and growing more in other areas. And I think it's a really interesting thing. I'm fascinated by how the mind works because, nothing happens without changing our thought process, right? For me personally, I worked out for several years. Nothing really changed. I didn't really take it seriously. And then something just flipped in my brain because I came to that conclusion of, am I going to just give up on this, or am I really going to figure it out? And that switch took place. And once it did, that's when the results happened. And that works in every other area of life. Now, I'm not saying that things just happen overnight and automatically when we make that switch in our mind. But what I'm saying is we have to flip that switch in our brains. We have to make that determination in our minds that, hey, this is what I'm going after. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there, regardless of what's going to come up against me, regardless of the hurdles I have to overcome, regardless of what I have to learn. And so I feel like I've carried that into a lot of other areas. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of areas where I still kind of do the whole shrinking back thing. Like, no, I don't think I'm going to take that leap of faith. You know what I mean? So there's obviously times and seasons and different things that we step into. But I want to really encourage you that as you begin this physical journey, whatever stage you're on, maybe you're just starting, maybe you're in the middle of it, maybe you're just kind of maintaining right now, take a deep look and ask yourself, what other areas of my life have changed? Or what other areas of my life need to change? And what steps can I make to bring about that change? Because I'm telling you, it's empowering. You begin to make these changes in your physical being. Now begin to make the changes in your mental capacity. The way you think about the world, the way you think about finances, the way you think about your work and how you function in the workplace, and begin to step into these things and really own these situations. Negativity, you've got to remember, sure, there's a lot of bad things that happen in the world. There always has been, there always will be, but there's also a lot of good things. And negativity literally keeps us in a box. It keeps us in this small little box and makes us believe that everybody's out to get us, that everything is out to get us, and that we're just completely not in control. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. And as you know, if you've taken hold of your fitness, that you're in control of that. And you can be in control of your mindset so much more than you think. And it's so key to our success in every area. Guess what? I guarantee you, if you start waking up and start telling yourself that today is going to be a really good day, and today I'm going to have a really good day at work, and I'm going to, lay out a few steps, X, Y, Z. I'm going to do this at work and this at work and this at work. I'm going to greet everybody with a smile. I'm going to, work really hard, take, a few less breaks. Whatever, something to really push yourself. I'm just using work as an example. I guarantee you, doing this day in, day out for a month, you're going to walk into that job with a completely different mindset after a month. Just like the first time in the gym, you go in, you're nervous, you're not sure what to do, you think everybody's looking at you, and then after a month or two, you find your rhythm. You know where the machines are. You don't feel so confused when you walk in. You feel like you're stepping into that place where you can build and better yourself. And again, nothing changed. The gym didn't change. They didn't, different people didn't start coming and they didn't change the equipment around or nothing like that. Your mindset changed because you became more confident and you stepped into that place of uncertainty and fear and stood it in the face and said, you know what? This does make me uncomfortable. I'm not cool with this, but I'm going to choose to take the harder road because I know where I want to get to. And when you begin to look at every area in your life like that, I'm telling you, there's going to be some radical changes in your life. Some radical changes. If you begin to wake up every morning, even if your finances aren't great, and begin to say, you know what? I'm working towards a better future. I believe that my finances are going to improve. I know that even though they may not be very good right now, there's somebody out there who has it way worse than me. And changing that perspective, because it's all about perspective, and that dialogue in our mind, telling you your outlook is going to change, your finances will change. Now, I'm not trying to get all woo-woo here and if you just say it's going to happen. No, it still takes a lot of work. Let's not fool anybody. This is not easy stuff here. We're talking about literally reshaping our bodies, reshaping our minds, and that is hard as hell. Okay, so don't misquote me and think that I'm just saying, just say it and it magically happens. No. What I'm saying is when you begin to tell yourself and change the dialogue you have in your mind day after day, you begin to believe it, and then your beliefs will dictate your actions, and you'll be able to behave differently, and that will result in change. It's a slow process. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, and it is a lot of work. It's a shit ton of work, but it's worth it. It's worth it. If you've made any progress in fitness, when you hit that goal, it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling. Whatever the goal you set for yourself, maybe it's to get more weight up or drop inches or whatever it is, get stronger, get more muscle mass, get a lower body fat percentage, and you hit that goal, you feel damn proud of yourself. You're like, man, I did that. I did that. And it's the same way in those other areas of life. You begin to change that dialogue you're having with yourself in your mind, and you just wait and see how many things will change. All right, I hope you found this helpful. If so, please leave us a review. That would mean the world to me. Let us know what you think of the show. Share it with a friend. And just remember, above all else, no matter what you're going through, what you're facing, you can change that dialogue. You can overcome and accomplish any goal that you set your mind to. You've got this.